play. "Hello, Peter," he said. "Mr. May?" I said. He made no effort to unblock the doorway, nor did he invite me in. "Leslie will be out in a minute," he said. "She all right?" I asked. It was a stupid question, and Leslie's dad didn't embarrass either of us by trying to answer it. I heard someone coming down the stairs and braced myself. There'd been severe damage to the maxilla, nasal spine, ramus, and mandible, Dr. Walid had said. And although the majority of the underlying muscle and tendons had survived, the surgeons at UCH had been unable to save much of the skin surface. They'd put in a temporary scaffold to allow her to breathe and ingest food, and there was a chance that she might benefit from a partial face transplant, if they could find a suitable donor. Given that what was left of her jaw was currently held together with a filigree of hypoallergenic metal, talking was out of the question. Dr. Walid had said that once the bones were sufficiently fused, they might be able to restore enough functionality to the jaw to allow for speech. But it all sounded a bit conditional to me. "Whatever you see," he said, "take as long a look as you need to get used to it, to accept it, and then move on as if nothing's changed." "Here she is," said Leslie's dad, and turned sideways to allow a slim figure to squeeze past him. She wore a blue and white striped hoodie with the hood up, the drawstring pulled so tight that it hid her forehead and chin. The lower face was covered by a matching blue and white patterned scarf, and her eyes by a pair of unfashionably large sunglasses that I suspected had been looted from her mum's forgotten clothes drawer. I stared, but there was nothing to see. "You should have said we were going out, Robin," I said. "I'd have brought a balaclava." She gave me a disgusted look. I recognized it from the tilt of her head and the way she held her shoulders. I felt a stutter in my chest and took a deep breath. "Fancy a walk, then?" I asked. She nodded to her dad, took me firmly by the arm, and led me away from the house. I felt her dad's eyes on my back as we walked off. If you don't count the boat building and the light engineering, Brightlingsea is not a noisy town, even in the summer. Now, 2 weeks after the end of the school holidays, it was almost silent, just the occasional car and the sound of gulls. I stayed quiet until we crossed the high street, where Leslie pulled her police-issue notebook out of her bag, flipped it open to the last page, and showed it to me. "What have you been up to?" was written in black biro across the page. "You don't want to know," I said. She made it clear through hand gestures that, yeah, she did want to know. So I told her about the guy that had his dick bitten off by a woman with teeth in her vagina, which seemed to amuse Leslie, and about the rumours that DCI Sewell was being investigated by the IPCC about his conduct during the Covent Garden riots, which did not. I also didn't tell her that Terence Potsley, the only other victim to survive the magic that had damaged Leslie's face, had topped himself as soon as his family's backs were turned. We didn't go straight to the seashore. Instead, Leslie led me the back way down Oyster Tank Road and through a grassy car park where rows of dinghies were parked on their trailers. A brisk wind from the sea moaned through the rigging and clonked the metal fittings together like cowbells. Hand in hand, we picked our way through the boats and out onto the windswept concrete esplanade. On one side, cement steps led down to a beach, carved into narrow strips by rotting breakwaters. On the other side, a line of brightly coloured huts. Most were closed up tight, but I did see one family determined to stretch the summer as far as it would go. The parents drinking tea in the shelter of their doorway, while the kids kicked a football on the beach. Between the end of the beach huts and the open-air swimming pool was a strip of grass and a shelter where we finally got to sit down. Erected in the 1930s, when people had realistic expectations of the British climate, it was brick-built and solid enough to serve as a tank trap. We sat down out of the wind on the bench that ran along the back of the alcove. The inside had been decorated with a mural of the seafront, blue sky, white clouds, red sails. Some total wanker had graffitied BMX across the sky, and there was a list of names crudely painted down the side wall: Brooke T., Emily B., and Leslie M. They were just in the right